You're such an asshole!
Hey everybody, this is the 8th time I've received this request, and as a matter of policy, I'm going to read an article every time I get this request to highlight that this is answered. This has been answered. However, I'm not going to besmirch the client because he does have a unique situation to this, but it's paralleled enough and common enough of a question. I'm just reading my scripted answer from here on out. So our client writes, "Oh, my captain, I'm having girl problems. I'm 25 years old and I recently graduated with a Master's of Science in Engineering Management. I currently work as a data scientist, ranking in $90,000 a year, no debts. Although my life seems to be going quite smoothly, I still feel empty inside because I have been unlucky with women. Maybe because I have never asked a woman out of fear of rejection. My problem is, as I'm an immigrant, not an excuse, I feel like I have trouble connecting with American women who speak in their own lingos." That is true. I'll grant you there's a hurdle there, but you could ask out people in your own community that happen to be here. They like to talk about TV shows and stuff that I have no time or interest in watching. This is why I have some sympathy. "I recently took up swing dancing. It's a great place to meet pretty women. I seem to be showing the ladies a good time while dancing, and some seem to like me. I don't know if this alone could be a sign that she's interested in me. No. I am hesitant to try and ask her out of fear of rejection. I also have trouble keeping a conversation apart from the usual exchanges of pleasantries." Well, okay, I'm going to, again, some sympathy here with you. Most women at that young, I don't know why men think they're the ones that always have to carry on the conversation. Women have a 50% responsibility of carrying on the conversation. But at that age, they think they're just there to be entertained and pleased and engaged. If it's painful to start to keep the conversation going, they're not doing their end. I know a lot of people think it's their fault, but they're not doing their part. They're not carrying their weight. Conversation takes two if they're just going to sit there and not ask interesting questions. Well, and you overestimate, I can almost guarantee you're making the erroneous assumption that these girls who watch these dumb shows that you can't understand are as smart as you and are interesting as you. They're not. If you've got yourself a master's in engineering, you're a data scientist, got news for you, dude. Read the book, Curse with a High IQ. Very few people are going to be able to keep a conversation up with you. But that's an aside. Because you have larger issues, which I'll get to. "What are some of the signs that women are interested in you? And can you give me some tips to keep a conversation going and mitigate the rejection rate? Also, because I'm making good money, do I need to flaunt a little by buying a fancy car and dressing expensively to show I am successful?" No, do not do that. "I would like to say that I am 5'6", but I'm also more like 5'5". Aha. "Thanks, would appreciate a video response. P.S. I do not have a driver's license yet." Aha. All right. This comes from the book of Cappy. It is a small book in the Bible that most people skip, and pastors don't like mentioning. The title is, from Cappy Capitalism, "The Authoritative How to Get Girls." Subtitle, "Eliminating a Disease." "Deep down inside, despite of all my cynicism, nihilism, defeatism, and indifference, a small piece of me idealistically yearns for one thing and one thing only: progress. Not necessarily in my own personal life, but in humanity, for that is all we have. Whether we are alive today or after we're gone tomorrow, humanity continues its march forward into eternity, and I would, at least in theory, like its future to be better than its past. The problem with progress is it just doesn't seem to stick. Matter of fact, people seem outright hostile towards it, commonly preferring to believe lies, often reacting violently against truth, damning us to regress instead of progress. This then forces me to let go of my care for humanity and oftentimes turn against it, logically concluding that if I'm going to get punished for telling the truth, it's at least profitable to capitalize on humanity's addiction for lies, and therefore, well, frankly, fuck progress. This is why the majority of my future work will be dedicated to selling lies to naive masses, because not only do they not deserve progress, they deserve to be punished. However, there's one bit of progress I am going to hold out for, one small morsel of good I hope to leave society before I die. It is a bit of progress that, like eradicating smallpox or polio, can do the world a world of good. And that simple tidbit of progress is to get you boys to understand why you should stop chasing women. There's already a library work on this subject, ranging from videos, articles, discussion forums, even books. Even in the embryonic days of the red pill community, the phrase, "stop putting pussy on the pedestal," identified the risks and costs associated with dedicating your life towards chasing girls. However, like polio, it's not so much the fact the disease hasn't been identified, it has, as how few men are inoculated against it and just how poorly the vaccine has been distributed. Because for every guy who knows why you should not dedicate your life towards chasing girls, there's at least 1,000 out there who don't, condemning them to waste their lives. So I implore you to read this article thoroughly or listen to it. Put in the effort to comprehend and understand it completely, forward it to any men who need it, and then you will not only learn why you should not chase women, here's the kicker, but in an ironic sense, how you can actually get them. Subtitle, How Do I Get the Girls? I spelled it that way. It is now nearly a monthly event. I get the same damn tiring request at my consultancy. How do I get the girls? Nearly every time it comes from a man with very distinct and specific characteristics. First, he is 100% invariably some kind of STEM or IT professional, an engineer, computer programmer, and accountant. He has worked hard in a hard field and is consequently gainfully employed and successful in his career. Second, because of his choice in education, he is consequently financially successful. None of my clients had any lingering student loans. None of them have any foolish debts. Most are making over 6 figures. Most are sitting on 6 figures in cash and cash equivalents. Money is the least of their problems, and they would make an exceptional provider for any woman interested in dating them. Third, they are methodical and logical in all things. Their career, their finances, their education, everything, any problem, hurdle, or challenge, they approach in a logical and thoughtful manner. However, they also approach women and their romantic lives in the same robotic manner. I had one client create an Excel spreadsheet model where he would record various variables and characteristics of women to run probability statistics on whether she'd go out with him or not. I had another take stand-up comedy to learn a routine. Not be funny, but a goddamned routine he could use to make women laugh. More than one wanted to know statistically what are the highest ratio of women to men were in large American towns. And another looked for the lowest divorce rates among various religions to find a high-quality woman, never mind whether he actually believed in the religion or not. Fourth, most but not all were ugly and or short. There were a smattering of well-built, very attractive young men who hit the gym regularly, but nearly 85% of men were short and or ugly. Fifth, uncomfortable as it may be, a majority of them were Asian. Some were immigrants, some of those were domestics, but nearly all of them were Asian. And by Asian, I do not necessarily mean the ethnicity as much as I mean their culture. They could be raised in America by East Indian parents under East Indian values, or they could be fresh from the University of Shenzhen working their first job in the United States. They were culturally Asian, trying to unlock the algorithm of Western dating and Western women. Finally, they were all at some level obsessed about women. This is somewhat understandable as nearly everything else in life was going their way. Only women remained. And it is also understandable in that all men are supposed to be obsessed about women at some level. But here their level of obsession was above the industrial average. If the average American male's obsession with women was an 8, these guys were turned up to about a 12. You combine all these traits and you may have the ingredients for success when it comes to your career, your education, and your finances, but it is a disaster when it comes to chasing women in your dating life. First, most of these men are used to success in achieving what they set out to do. Not being good with girls could very well be the first time they failed at something in life. This only makes successful men want to try harder, harder in that they're doubly obsessed with not failing. Second, their lesser physique and shortness does nothing to help them, making it nearly impossible to get a girl no matter how hard they try. Third, their cultural upbringing, Asian, nerd, or whatever, hands them a heavy social and romantic handicap as if their physique was not bad enough. But perhaps the death blow of their death blow is their methodical and logical nature. Keep on saying methodological. All problems, challenges, and hurdles in their past, they've solved through math, engineering, programming, or some other kind of logic. They always approach women in the same way, as if solving the romantic problems was like solving a quadratic equation. This not only won't work, but condemns them to failure because women are humans, not robots, nor algebraic formulae. Subtitle, We are all nerdy, formulaic, obsessed engineer Asian a little bit. But before we pick on these men, let's admit we either currently are or were a little bit like them at one time. The question of how to get girls has plagued all of mankind since forever, and we've yet to still arrive at an answer, cough, cough, until now. And quite literally, this is how you get women. You need to suffer this pain. It's only natural men would use their logical, statistical, and mathematical brains to help increase the chances of meeting women. Additionally, pickup artistry does hold some valuable truths and lessons that can be learned and will increase your chances. And there's certainly nothing wrong with being financially successful, being a doctor, engineer, actuary, or accountant. The problem lies in misdiagnosing the problem as a 100% scientific one with no artistic component. We think the problem of getting girls can be solved logically, mathematically, with concrete finite answers. We view the problem of courting women as a chemist does a formula. If I just hit the gym and I'm above 6 feet tall and earn six figures and nag them, then I can approach them using, quote, game, and they will give me their number, which I'll wait 4.39 days to text back, giving her exactly 36 hours to agree to meet me at a bar where I'll only buy her alcoholic drinks. Failing to account for the artistic and human side of women damns nearly all your pursuits to failure, and much, much worse, a wasting of your precious and finite life. And if men start putting forth the effort to understanding this artistic component, we'd all have a lot more success in, quote, getting the girls, and I would get to stop answering this damn infernal question. Subtitle, You're a Bland Drink. To understand this artistic component to the pursuit of women, every young man needs to view himself as a bland drink, an empty hard drive, an empty canvas. This doesn't mean you have no value, nor that you don't bring any value to the table, but is simply to say you are young, inexperienced, and thus pretty boring. You do not have the life experiences that make you interesting, enables you to tell engaging stories, or tickle the fancies of women with charm, wit, interesting anecdotes, nor impressive life achievements. Yes, you may luckily stumble across a young 21-year-old girl in college, inebriated to the point she'd go home with you. And yes, there's a chance you'll meet a nice 19-year-old who's completely taken by your personality. But these are statistical oddities, not industry standards. The vast majority of women are looking for interesting men who stand out from the rest with their own record of accomplishments, achievements, and success. They're looking for a fine aged scotch, a rare vintage of wine. Heck, they're looking for a Jack and Coke, not a glass of water. So how does one become an interesting drink? Simple. You don't waste your time chasing women and instead invest in yourself. The paradox male biology presents to every young man is that your primary goal is women, but chasing women does not improve your chances with them, since it does not improve you as a man. There's nothing special about going to a nightclub. There's nothing special about painfully and awkwardly approaching a girl at a party. Merely pursuing women does not make you stand out from the literally billions of every other man out there who do that every day. And for every second you're chasing a girl at a club, that's one less second you could spend on self-improvement. This is why spending 3 hours at a gym is an infinitely better investment than 3 hours at a club. This is why hitchhiking across Asia for a month is better than taking some cockamamie PUA seminar packed with nerds. This is why becoming a semi-pro fisherman, working at the CERN labs, or riding motorcycles across the world is better than swiping left on Tinder. These experiences are the ingredients by which you ultimately create the best version drink of yourself. These life experiences are the flavors that make you an interesting man. And though you may not be every girl's cup of tea, you will certainly be more appealing than a mere glass of common water. There is, however, a much more important reason to invest in self-improvement than merely chasing girls: yourself. Life is finite. You are going to die. Do you want to be the balding beer gut guy at the middle-aged singles bar, or the world's most interesting man? Do you want to be the washed-up dude bro attending divorced Christian singles meetups at 50, or have a quality, reliable woman that perhaps a family at 40? Do you want to be the desperate man who mail-ordered his bride from Russia and gets divorced when she gets her green card? Or do you want to be Indiana Jones pursuing archaeology and having his students throw themselves at him? The true cost of chasing women at the expense of self-improvement is a life wasted. Everything you could have achieved had you committed those trillions of calories of energy into a doctorate degree, carpentry, the trades, hiking and adventuring, or health and working out is gone when you put women as the number one priority in life. And the real kicker in the nuts is, had you invested in yourself and became the best version of you ever could, you would have gotten more high quality girls in the long run than you'd find in 1,000 years of gaming at nightclubs. You simply cannot afford to waste time chasing women. Your life and success with women depends on it. Subtitle, Impatience, Cowardice, and Laziness. This is the important one, boys. This is the important one, because this is where it is. Now, you would think that like a vaccine for polio or cure for cancer, there would be great rejoicing and celebration. We have ultimately unlocked the secret of women. We have finally figured out, how do I get the girls? Quite literally, millions of men's lives, both today and into the future, will be saved and better invested, and quite literally, millions of men, both today and into the future, will get more women than they were ever going to get had they not had this epiphany. However, here is where the analogy between using self-improvement to get girls and using a vaccine to cure a disease ends. Because whereas getting a vaccine is simple and easy, self-improvement is arduous and hard. And this is where the real problem in getting the girls lays, because most of you will fail in a combination of three fronts: impatience, cowardice, and laziness. The reason I keep getting this question, the reason the entire Red Pill community keeps going around in circles about getting the girls, And the reason PUAs can continue to fleece you for the lie that women are solvable, algorithmic robots is because deep down inside, most of you just plain don't want to put forth the work that is required in self-improvement. We have the answer, we have the key, we've unlocked the secret, you just don't want to go through with it. First, you must be patient. The forgivable paradox is that you are most interested in women when you are young and therefore have nothing really to offer women. Self-improvement takes time, at least a decade of hard, dedicated work, and when you throw on a college degree with its commensurate college debt, most young men are working at a significant handicap against their more experienced, financially better off 30 and 40-something peers. However, most young men are too impatient and capable of the delayed gratification that is required to become an interesting drink, and are at some level going to waste significant amounts of time and resources chasing girls, meeting the same fate many of our forefathers did, throwing themselves at the Omaha beach. Again, this is forgivable as every man has done this to some extent, but most fail by letting women dictate their entire lives instead of themselves. Second, cowardice. While I understand your biological hardwiring makes you impatient, I have absolutely no tolerance for cowardice and the fear of rejection. Every man worth his salt has overcome his fear of rejection by courageously and indifferently asking out as many women as it took to build a callous and therefore indifference to rejection. Most real men I know laugh when a girl shoots them down because they are such an interesting drink. They know that woman is losing out. However, no matter how many times I answer the question, how do I get the girls? I know that what lies at the core of my clients and most men's preference to rely on scientific methodologies to meet women is a cowardice of putting yourself out there and getting rejected. A fear of getting on the mat and sparring with your partner, a refusal to go out there and get your nose bloodied up. Alas, if you can't take a life-saving vaccine because you're afraid of needles, you're not going to get the girls if you're too much of a coward to face rejection. And finally, laziness. Self-improvement is hard. It requires work and sacrifice in nearly all fronts of life: educational, intellectual, career, physical, and financial. If you wish to be an exceptional man with exceptional chances of meeting exceptional girls, you need to put in an exceptional amount of work. STEM degrees, hard careers, and a lifelong commitment to working out, proper dieting, engaging hobbies, advancing your understanding of philosophy, frugality, and good financial management. Nearly every aspect of your life must be geared towards excellence. The problem is most men don't want to put this level of work and effort into their lives. Most men already have this pre-existing expectation of how hard life will be, and when you throw in all the added lifelong requirements and responsibilities it will take to become an interesting man, the majority of men opt for video games and an easy life. They hope their mom was right and that girls will like them for their personalities. They hope being a leftist or male feminist will get them laid. They hope an overpriced luxury car they leased will make girls magically fall from the sky and land on their dick. They hope Slicky McSlickerson's $5,000 advanced pickup artist course will finally unlock the secrets of women. Anything to avoid the gym, anything to avoid rigor, anything to keep your sedentary lifestyle. The real question, subtitle. The real question facing men today is not how do I get the girls, it's are you willing to put forth the effort to become an interesting man and consequently get the girls. I can understand just how daunting the requirements to become a real man and get the girls can be. I can see choosing more of a monk lifestyle where you focus on yourself and have a women worries-free life. And I can sympathize with those of you who were lied to about how all you had to do was be a nice guy and the girls would like you for your personality. I merely ask for that modicum of progress I requested before, that we stop chasing this canard around, that there is some magical shortcut to getting women that does not require work and excellence on our part, and that if you are not willing to put forth that work and effort, to stop asking that damn infernal question and accept your girl as fate. Alright, that's the answer. Okay, now, as I said, you are a unique case and that you have one quality and trait here. And it's not your foreign status. I know you're a little bit worried about that, your foreign status. It's not, because you're a good-looking dude. I'll grant you that, and you look Americanized. Again, you didn't want me to mention which country. Normally when people come from this country, you can tell just by fashion. You don't even have to look at skin color or facial features. It's like, yeah, that's the country you're from. You don't do that. You meld. You look like an American. And you're in shape, and you look pretty good. Problem you're going to run into, dude, you're 5'5". And that's where you're just completely fucked. Alright? The dancing is fine. That's a hobby you're pursuing. That's pursuing excellence. That's a great thing that you're doing right there. But your biggest hurdle is something you don't control. And that's your height. There's only one guy I knew, one guy, that was your height and pulled it off, and his name was Paul. And this was the most charming motherfucker ever. I don't know where he got it, but this guy, he could pull it off. This guy was smooth. He was confident. He wasn't ripped. He's just a small guy. But he had the girls eaten out of his hands because he was funny as hell. Now, the route you got to go to become Paul, I don't know. If I could find him, I should interview him and find out how he did it. But that is one guy in the literally probably hundreds of thousands of people that I've met. It's a rarity. In your case, I'd be going back home to find some girls that are traditional from your culture. I'd be dating really short girls. I wouldn't even be bothering with girls that are like 5'3" or taller. And you have to accept this fate, especially in America, that if you're that short, it don't even, I mean, really, you're going to waste your time. If anything else, you are the epitome example of somebody who should focus on self-improvement. Because your efforts, like if you were 6'2" and ripped, and okay, you throw in some effort, you're going to get some girls. You are going to waste all your time chasing girls, all of them. I would not say ballroom. Ballroom dancing is a good one. That's it. You're learning a skill. You're learning trading. But this is for you, man. You got to focus on self-improvement and becoming charming. So I don't know. Watch some Cary Grant movies. Become funny. Don't come up with a script. Don't learn a routine. Become funny. And then how can you tell if a girl likes you? It's very simple. You ask her out. And if she likes you, she'll say yes. If she doesn't like you, she'll say no. And I don't give two flying fucks about, I'm in fear of rejection. Too bad for you. Stop being a pussy. Be a fucking man. Okay? I can't say it. I was going to say, you guys fought the so-and-so. So don't tell me there ain't no masculine men. But I can't say because then people know what war it was. He's from that country. Your men, your forefathers have waged war. Don't give me this pussified bullshit that you are afraid to reject. Too bad. Too freaking bad. All right, that's it. Cappy got to go do some fun stuff. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.